Okay, almost done. I know it's tons of factoring review, and it's especially worse that I'm not here. However, keep plugging away at it, work together, ask to watch the videos again, look in your textbook, lots of resources here. I'll even include some YouTube videos that show this too. Okay, so we want to factor these two now. Now what I notice is that the headline tells me we're doing a new strategy, factoring out a monomial first. So I'm going to look at B, and I'm going to say, look at all those numbers. Can't I divide them by a number to make it a little bit lower of a problem? Because I don't want to do this gigantic BAC chart. So I look at B and I say, well, they're all even. So that means that I can at least divide them by 2. Can I divide them by anything else? 6 and 8? No, I think 2 is it. But we're seeing that you can take a number and divide each one of those. So all of those are divisible by 2. So I'm going to factor it out. I'm going to pull a 2 out of the equation there. So 6q squared divided by 2 leaves me with 3q squared. 14q, or negative 14q, divided by 2 is negative 7q. 8 divided by 2 is positive 4. So now I have made my factoring a lot simpler. Now I can kind of ignore that 2 and leave it there. And I can do my BAC chart, oops, that ended up really weird, for the middle there. Okay, so take a second, try and do that BAC chart with this one, and I will post the answer. Again, look at D, see if there is something you can factor out, and try the BAC chart, and I will post the answers in just a second. Okay, so I got a lot of stuff written on here. So we factored out that 2, we wrote what was left, and then we went and did our BAC chart. We took our B term, which is now negative 7, and A times C, which is the same as 3 times 4, which gives me 12. Okay, so I asked myself, what are 2 numbers that will multiply to give me 12 and add to give me negative 7? And the only way to do that is negative 4 and negative 3. So I then changed this negative 7q into negative 4q and negative 3q because that's what fit in my BAC chart. Again, it's factors what will multiply to be the A times C and add to be the B. Once I did that, we grouped it. I pulled out what was in common. Notice I didn't keep writing 2 every time because it just became more confusing. Okay, so I took out what was in common. 3q squared minus 4q. Both of them had a q I could pull out of there. So I was left with q times 3q minus 4. Then I noticed this last one was really close. The only thing that didn't match were those signs. To get the signs to match, you usually factor out the negative. So I factored out a negative 1. They matched. I took whatever was in front. That went in my first one, and one of the repeated ones in my second one. And this is my factored form. Now for D, I factored out a 3 because I noticed that all of them could be divided by 3. And then I tried to make my BAC chart. And I don't know if you guys can see it because of the camera angle. So I'll rewrite it here really quick. My B value is negative 7 now. My A times C is 4 times 1, which is 4. So I need what 2 factors will multiply to be 4 and add to be negative 7. I'm kind of stuck there because I have 2 times 2, 4 times 1. There's no way to get a 7 out of that. So this one cannot be factored, and that's as far as you can go. Now, what I want you guys to do is to work on your homework, ask each other questions, work together. It's only going to get more complicated from here with factoring. So we need to make sure we're okay with this stuff first. So if you still have questions, bring them with you, of course, on Monday. But we're going to introduce a little more material on Monday. So try this over the weekend. Watch the video again if you need to. I will have my website posted in the classroom. You should see it on the board. And you should be good.